What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach. Today's subreddit is r/TalesOfNeckbeards. This story's called Creepy Neckbeard Makes a Move on Me Because He's Curious. Okay, so I haven't posted on Reddit before, but a friend suggested I create an account to post my story here. So here goes. The cast: Neckbeard, Creepy Neckbeard, friends 1 and 2, best friend, and me! For a little bit of backstory, I started my transition when I was around 10. Clothing, haircut, new name and pronouns, etc. And started hormones when I was 16. Basically, what is important is that I was passing as male and had been pretty much ever since I came out. I was, and still am, a pretty feminine male, which is also quite relevant to this story. I met Neckbeard in my music course at college. I left school at 17 to enroll in this course, and he was 20. He was your stereotypical neckbeard, minus the fedora. He loved anime, heavy metal, and had a gross, bushy beard. Now, I'm not saying that beards are gross, but his beard was always gross looking. He never looked clean or well kept. Anyways, we got to talking about guitars, an instrument we both play, and eventually we branched out and started talking about anime or other genres of music we liked. He was kinda socially awkward, but he seemed nice enough. After a while, he started inviting himself to hang out with me and my friends outside college. They were in a different course from me, but we always hung out on our breaks and outside college, which seemed a little odd, but my friends and I just assumed that he was lonely and wanted someone to hang out with. He was perfectly fine for the first few weeks, a little touchy-feely with the girls, but they'd always shut him down and he'd apologize profusely. That was until we decided to have a party for friend 1's 18th birthday. It wasn't a massive event, there was only about 10 people there, which was perfect with us because we're a pretty introverted group and tend not to like big parties. And of course, Neckbeard had invited himself along. On the way to friend 1's house, I could feel Neckbeard staring. Since I had been dealing with some personal stuff for the past couple of months, I didn't have the energy to dress nice or do my makeup and hair like I normally would. But tonight, I had made an effort. My hair had been bleached and dyed purple. Again, I had put a lot of effort into my eye makeup and had decided on ripped jeans and an oversized sweater, which made me feel cute and allowed me to take my binder off without my chest being noticeable. Long story short, I was looking a lot more feminine than I had for the past couple of months, and Neckbeard had noticed. Even trying to play with my hair, which I kindly asked him to stop because I'm not 100% comfortable with physical contact. When we arrived at friend 1's house, we bumped into her mom, who was taking friend 1's 5-year-old brother out for the night so we could enjoy ourselves and not worry about waking him. She stayed for a few minutes just to chat to everyone and see how we're all getting on. She is one of the sweetest women you could ever meet. And when she got to me, she asked how my hormone treatment was going. Neckbeard's eyes lit up. Frick my life. I told her how everything was, and we chatted for a bit before she left. This was when it all started going to crap.
So what was that about? Are you turning into a woman?
Gross choice of words, but I was patient. No, I'm actually a trans man, female to male.
So you're actually a girl?
Again, I ignored the phrasing of his question. A lot of people aren't sure how to word these questions, which is okay. No, I was assigned female at birth, but I have a male brain. I've been going by real name since I was 10.
That's cool, I'm totally accepting. People should be able to live their lives how they want.
Well, I'm glad you think that. It's a good point of view.
But when you sleep with a guy, how does it happen?
FML. Not too sure I'm comfortable talking about that, Neckbeard.
No, I was just wondering, because I always wanted to do stuff with one of your kind.
Really, Beach? My kind?
And I just wanted to know how it works. Like, where would your boyfriend put it?
I'm visibly uncomfortable by this point, and he can tell, but he kept pushing. Eventually, friend 2 walks in, sees that I'm uncomfortable, and tells him to back the frick off or he can head home now. I didn't want him to get kicked out because of me. Anxiety is a bench like that, so when my friend offered to kick him out, I told her it was okay. He probably just made a mistake, right? He was fine for the first few hours, but the minute that he saw I was getting drunk, I'm a happy drunk and just love everyone, so I can't really stand up for myself, he started initiating physical contact. Holding my hands, hugging me, pecking me on the cheek. Hell, even tried to make me sit in his lap. Me being the nice drunk I am, I tried to pry myself away from him, but didn't want to hurt his feelings. It got to the point where my friends sat themselves between us to make some distance and give me a break from him, which I was grateful for. As the night progressed, I started to relax a bit. I was laughing and joking with my friends when I kept seeing Neckbeard glaring at me and friend 2. It took a while for me to realize that he was jealous because I was happy initiating physical contact with her. Note, friend 2 and I have been friends since nursery and we're both gay, so nothing would ever happen. This continued all night. He kept trying to initiate physical contact with me and would glare at anyone I spoke to. Later in the night, when we were pretty drunk, talk turned to sex and kinks. We're pretty open about that sort of stuff in our friend group. This is when Neckbeard started to describe all his sexual fantasies. He wanted
A cute little submissive.
to spoil and treat like royalty, which is fair enough, I guess, as long as the partner is into that kind of thing. But he started to go way too far into detail about how his submissive would serve him and how they'd be punished if they upset him. I'm not gonna go into detail about what those punishments were. All you guys need to know is that they were pretty messed up. I'm not kink shaming anyone here, by the way, it's just a lot of them were pretty extreme, and he admitted that he wouldn't listen or allow his partner to safe word, which is not okay for me and my friends. He also wouldn't shut up about hentai and yaoi and yuri and how he loved the power dynamics in those movies, mangas, and shows. Talk eventually turned to other things, and we tried to forget about our disturbing conversation with him. Towards the end of the night, we decided we were all gonna sober up slightly, and a group of my friends went outside to get food. Friend 1 and the others went up to the attic to bring down air mattresses for everyone to sleep on. I couldn't help due to the immense chest pain that my binder had caused me for wearing it too long. In case you don't know, it's a device that gives trans-masculine people the appearance of a flat chest, but it can be dangerous if worn for too long. So I stayed downstairs and did the dishes and cleaned up the living room and the kitchen instead. I took my binder off before cleaning, and once I was done, laid on the sofa and focused on breathing properly. At some point, Neckbeard had managed to sneak away from my friends and came downstairs to find me lying on the couch. Now, any normal person would just sit down on the other couch, maybe start a conversation, but not Neckbeard. That'd be too simple. Instead, he decides to practically straddle my legs and lean over me, effectively pinning me to the sofa, which I do not like. I get panicky when I feel trapped, and started to kiss me. Now, just remember, I was still intoxicated, sober enough to realize I didn't like this, but too drunk to try and push him off. Even if I wasn't drunk though, he is a lot bigger than me, so I was essentially screwed either way. Also, he smells awful, like to the point where I feel nauseous. Eventually, friend 1 comes downstairs with her boyfriend, and he jumps back and stammers that I was the one who initiated it. Friend 1 flips and slaps him and tells him to get the frick out of her house. We wound up having him stay for a tense half hour whilst he waited for his taxi. Never saw him after that. My friends went to my college lecturer and told him what happened, and Neckbeard was moved out of my class and also reprimanded. This was due to him trying to talk to me at college, etc., and just trying to make me uncomfortable. Friend 1's boyfriend saw Neckbeard a few weeks later, and Neckbeard told him,
It's not my fault that I just wanted to try things with him. He should have known when he started acting like a boy that people would get curious. He needs to lighten up and let people experiment with him.
Sure thing, Neckbeard. I'll sleep around with curious creeps like you so you can fulfill your fetish for trans men. Anyways, I'm sorry for the long story. Thanks to anyone who read this. Have a great day. Wow. What a scumbag. I hope people realize that people are more than what they are. That's confusing. But I, as a man, am not just a man, you know what I mean? Women as women are not just women. Trans men as trans men are not just trans men. They're people with, they want relationships as they want. They're not just people to be like, hey, you're different than me. Let's do something because that's all you are. This story's called, My Cousin's Uncle Kissed Me When He Thought I Was Sleeping. So, second post on this sub. I guess this means I'm kinda beard bait. So, some things to know. This happened years ago, maybe a bit hazy. This happened when I was around 9 or 10 years old. My cousin's dad is the younger brother of my mom. My little cousin's uncle, we'll call him Edward, is around 2 to 3 years older than me. Back then, I would go with my cousin to Sunday school because her maternal grandfather, Edward's father, was a pastor. One day, my cousin's mom, Edward's sister, asked if I wanted to sleep over at their place. Sleepovers were fun, so I said yeah. Cousin's mom didn't tell me that Edward was going to be there, but I didn't mind. Fast forward to sleepy time, and everyone slept on the living room floor. I was, and still am, a very light sleeper. At around 3 a.m., I heard some rustling and was awoken by it, but didn't look to see what was making the noise, so I just laid there with my eyes kinda closed. You know how you'd pretend to be asleep but have your eyes slightly open? That's what I did. So while doing that, I could kind of see Edward just walking around. This didn't really faze me much because cousin's mom told me Edward had a habit of cooking early morning when he got hungry. But then Edward stops and walks over to me, crouches next to my body, and just stares at me. I was still too scared to move. He then inches closer to my face, and at this point, I was panicking. I was thinking of some way to get him to step off without waking anyone else. I am not very confrontational, and the only thing I could do was to exhale really heavily when he got really close to my face to get him freaked out or something, but it didn't work. And then it happened. He leaned in and landed a wet smooch on my lips. I could still remember the wet, warm blob that was his lips, and I'm cringing as I'm typing this. After that, Edward just went on his way to pee and go back to sleep. I ended up not sleeping for the rest of the night. The next day, while eating breakfast, Edward carried a conversation like normal and asked me something related to the conversation topic. I was kinda traumatized from a few hours ago and was not in the mood for talking to him, so I just replied, "Oh no." Oh, that's messed up. I hope that sort of behavior hasn't escalated from that. Because this isn't an excuse, but like, when you're that age and you do some weird stuff. Personally, I haven't gotten that far, and I hope most others haven't. This story's called High School Neckbeard Stories. If you want, look up BBILLYK for what he sorta looked like, only fatter. Alrighty, this is just one long rant about him. The order is probably gonna be all over the place, but I just found out he got arrested for having some very illegal and messed up images on his computer. So on with the rants. I'm not gonna use his name, so let's call him Brian. So I met Brian in 8th grade, and at first he seemed kinda cool until all he wanted to talk about was anime and swords and crap. But in 9th grade is when his neckbeard ways just kept climbing. He came to school wearing an all-black attire complete with fedora and trench coat. He claimed that he was the superior gentleman and that all women will fall for him by Christmas. He Naruto ran literally everywhere, kept so many mangas in his backpack that all he could fit was a small binder, and no crap, he actually read all the books. Like he would be reading 2 at a time. I was stuck with him as a partner once with 2 other girls, and we had to vote on who we wanted to present the assignment. And this one girl wanted to do it, and he got upset, took the papers, and tossed them in the trash. He claimed he was dating a girl he met online who lived in Japan, and claimed he visited her over winter break and came back with a crappy edited photo of him with some random Google searched Japanese girl. In fact, someone took the photo and did an image search and showed literally the photo he used. I played baseball and we had to leave early to go to a game, and he went on some rant about how he never got to leave early and it wasn't fair because all we did was hit a ball. He got suspended for 15 days because he ran into 2 girls at lunch wanting to be first in line. Trust me, that was the best 15 days any of us had. We literally got so much work done because he was gone and had a private party to celebrate. He ended up failing the final and freaked out, but somehow passed enough to go to the next grade, 10th grade. I didn't really have any classes with him. All I know is someone destroyed his DS and he was going on a manhunt to find out who. 11th grade. Had one class with him temporarily, more on that later, but the teacher basically told him to shut up and banned him from wearing the trench coat because he looked like a wannabe mafia guy. He definitely didn't take a liking to her, and I know he ended up getting kicked out because he had to take these special courses that school offered where he had to show up like an hour early or stay an hour later to make up classes. But he had to do both and give up his lunch so he can attend some type of catch-up class during lunch. But the month he was in that class, all he did was read manga and screw around on his phone. Then we had off-campus lunch, and apparently he was free to go eat off on Fridays, and would go into this field between the school and the mall to practice his katana skills. And I remember me and my friends passing him walking by because we went to Hooters a few times, and I remember him seeing our to-go cup and said something like,
"While you peasants were lusting over the bosom of a harlot, I was practicing the blade, making my ancestors happy."
12th grade. He absolutely lost it this year. The fact he somehow got D's in all his classes and it was enough to pass him is beyond me. I know he was stuck doing the 3 extra classes again, and he needed a fine arts credits and ended up taking stagecraft with me, which he promptly got kicked out of and forced to take something else. He got banned from off-campus lunch because he was caught practicing his katana and just basically stayed by himself in the library. Then at graduation, when we were walking back to the seats, he Naruto ran. Well, the last official time I saw him was at diploma pickup. I needed some extra volunteer hours for a grant at college and was able to give diplomas out. He was the only person not to receive one who actually walked. On the roster, if you were on the verge of passing, you got to walk, but that didn't promise a diploma, and that was finalizing during the summer. I never heard from him again until just recently when my friend told me he got caught with, oh my, that guy had issues. Lots of issues. But, whatever his issues are, I hope he gets put in prison a long time because, what he got caught with is, bad. Bad stuff. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.